it's kind of perplexing because there's a certain amount of people who will see the truth, and there's a certain amount of people who will refuse to see the truth.
Yeah.
And I think some of these people are realizing that what they're being fed are a bunch of lies. And they look into, maybe they see Scripture, they see the Bible, they go, this is truth. And maybe they see the light because it is truth.
Yeah. And one of the things that we saw some years ago, individuals who had converted to Catholicism previous to the conversion or as a part of the conversion process, they read Fathers of the Church or some of the older Catholic writings. That is what inspired them to become Catholic. And most all these people converted into the Novus Ordo. So like I said, I'm slow to pass judgment on any of this because you don't know the intention of the person who's converted. Because I'm going to assume their intention is good and pure, okay, despite the fact of what's taken place in the Novus Ordo. And there are some of these conversions, it didn't take too long for them to realize, okay, this is not what I thought it was. And they moved toward true Catholicism. Today we would say traditional Catholicism. You got to be careful with that because that's a spider's web right there. That's a real problem. But you can't if you don't have the gift of reading hearts, you got to be very careful with this type of thing. Saying other than the heretic who obviously dies in the state of sin and denies Christ or denies certain teachings of the church, something like this, or the Muslims or the Hindus or the Buddhists, people like this, because if they're not baptized and they deny Christ, that's pretty clear. After that, as far as judging the soul as to where they're going to spend eternity, it's not for me to make that judgment. And so that I'm clear to anybody who's listening, that doesn't mean I'm going to the other direction and say everybody's going to heaven, because I don't believe that either. It is something of a gray area as far as who's saved and who's not. We know that you have to be baptized. We know that it was Christ's will that all become Catholic. But even among Catholics, not all will be saved or have been saved. And so there's an area here where one just simply has to be careful.